Set. So the seal... Is he... Thank the gears. The people. My people. They're safe. He knew. He knew this would happen. He said I would shine a light one day. Do you see? Everything built to this. Everything. Every battle, every sorrow. It finally makes sense. You asked him that? After all the impatience I showed you, the bad temper? I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I've never met a more altruistic soul. Still, I'm not sure even so the seal could save me this time. I feel it in my bones. This is how I end. Perhaps you're right. You know, I asked Sotha Seal to spare someone close to me long ago. He refused. Now I see. I understand. I'll try to make your choice mean something. You have my word.
I can't stand seeing her like this. I always thought Luciana was, I don't know, indestructible. How could this happen? And the strain was too much. Yes, I've heard. I just thought with you there, and Lord Set as well, I guess every spring comes unwound eventually, no matter how strong. Do you think she'll live? You what? And Lord Set granted you this boon? I'm sorry. I shouldn't seem so shocked. You've done nothing but struggle and sacrifice for us since you arrived. Thank you, my friend. With Luciana healed, the Clockwork City will flourish. I'll remain here a while longer. I should stay at her side at least until the factotum shares its test results. We'll meet again soon, I'm sure.
Ah, my erstwhile companion. You look remarkably coherent. Most mortals caught in a Daedric tempest would suffer some lasting effects. I'm impressed. Baffled, but impressed. Already? I expected him to wait at least a week before summoning me. Seal's concept of time bears only a faint resemblance to our own. You should set out. I'll be along shortly. Taking it all in, I suppose. Surely you won't begrudge me a moment of vulnerability. This place, it is something. I sense that I won't return anytime soon, if at all. When you've lived as long as I have, that actually starts to mean something. One can only marvel at a rival's triumphs for so long before that awe turns to resentment. And I have no time for petty jealousy. I have plans of my own, and countless realms to explore. I can't afford to linger anywhere for long. You didn't, though. Bully for you. In truth, I sought an alternate route to the throne, through the Everglow. Unfortunately, Nocturnal detected my presence immediately. One of the few burdens of near-divine power. I'm difficult to miss. Trapped? No. Impeded, perhaps? Fortunately, Nocturnal's attention turned to you and the good Proctor when you defeated the Shadow. It gave me the opportunity to pinpoint the object of her fury. You. I followed her to the throne. The rest is history.
Thank you both for coming.
Of course, old friend. You seem troubled. More troubled than usual, I mean.
Perceptive, as always. I do not wish to diminish your achievement, but Nocturnal's defeat here will be short-lived. What's more, she does not act alone. A third enemy looms at the edge of my sight. Their covetous eyes are now fixed on the Somerset Isles.
Then we should inform the rest of the Sijiks. You'll need to prepare.
I will inform them personally. I have a separate task for you, Devaith. Take the skeleton key. Keep it hidden for as long as you can. I trust that this task pleases you. After all, your love of such trinkets is what brought you here in the first place.
Sometimes I wonder if you see too much. I will keep it safe.
Farewell, Devaithfir. We will not meet again. I haven't visited this memorial for centuries, but even I need reminders every now and again. Do you like this place? It took me the better part of a decade to perfect it. Every stone and flower tells a story. Tales of how things were, how they ought to be. I thought about destroying it on more than one occasion. I'm glad I didn't. I know. Ask and I will answer truthfully. Just know that the truth often fails to satisfy. You expect something grand, but I promised you the truth. I am only what time and circumstance made me. Son of a lost house, friend to a fallen king. Some will tell you that we are the product of our choices. I've never found that to be the case. I am whatever the people need me to be. A guardian, an oppressor. For some, too distant. For others, too meddlesome. I am the canvas upon which they paint their dreams and resentments. A vessel for their hopes and doubts. A mirror, nothing more. I don't. But my companions, Vivek and Almalexia, see their divinity as essential. Godhood brings them joy and purpose. They find meaning in the theatrical. Who am I to deprive them of that? Almalexia defies symbol analysis. I doubt she could even describe herself accurately. To understand Almalexia, you must first understand the value of fiction. Vivek fancies himself the poet, but in truth, AM is the greater storyteller. Vivek knows the boundaries that separate fact from fiction. He knows them so well that he's learned how to break them. He exists inside his verse, but recognizes the lies, the contradictions. He both does and does not believe his own tales. She believes her tales implicitly, as does everyone else. Her capacity for deception appears limitless. She sows lies like a master gardener sows seeds, and the harvest of trust and adulation is breathtaking in scope. Not in the slightest. As I said, we are, all of us, bound by our nature. Almalexia does what she does because she cannot do otherwise. It will not end well. But then, even the best endings rarely bring joy. Vivek is my brother. He knows my struggles, and I know his. That knowledge makes our relationship complicated, To truly know someone is as much a curse as it is a blessing. Regret. We are bound by that at least. He also suffers a kind of enslavement. Not unlike my own, in fact. Beauty holds the keys to his shackles. Beauty and a love of great works, great heights. His appetites are insatiable, thus his despair. Yes, a poet's despair. Vivek craves radical freedom, the death of all limits and restrictions. He wishes to be all things at all times. Every race, every gender, every hero, both divine and finite. But in the end, he can only be Vivek. Not even remotely. I sometimes ask myself the same thing. May I confess something to you? I suffer from a peculiar ailment. Shall I describe it? I bear the cruel weight of certainty. Total, absolute, relentless certainty. People rarely comprehend the luxury of doubt, the freedom that comes with indecision. I envy you. Indeed, but such questions are flaccid, cursory indulgences that come and go in an instant. The truth is that my actions, both good and evil, are inevitable, locked in time, determined by chains of action and consequence. Compelled. This city serves a noble goal, the redemption of Tamriel, the unification of competing forces, the destruction of the Daedra. Unfortunately, it is an endeavor built upon a lattice of corpses, betrayal, untold horrors. Do you understand? Maybe the word I covet above all others. Hold to that word, my friend, and never let go. I instructed Devaith to run from the battle that is to come. Now, I urge you to run toward it. Long ago I brokered a truce with the princes of Oblivion. This pact bound 8 princes to an oath that they would never again set foot on Tamriel. Nocturnal was not present when the princes signed the Cold Harbor Compact. Thus she flouts its restrictions. Now, this is important. Nocturnal does not act alone. 2 other princes lie in wait, Clavicus Vile and Mafala. Defeated? Forgive my candor, but Clavicus Vile cannot be defeated through force of arms. Neither can Mafala. I have preparations to make outside my clockwork realm. You must stay vigilant. Take heed of any Daedric incursions and stand ready to fight. The prisoner wields great power, making reality of metaphor. We will need you before the end. A fool's hope, perhaps. I should explain. Look around you. All of this exists because it must exist. I stand here, in this place, in this moment, not because I wish to, but because I have to. A result of action and consequence. Clever, but incorrect. The prisoner must apprehend two critical insights. First, they must face the reality of their imprisonment. They must see the determinative walls, the chains of causality that bind them to their course. I have, but I fall short of the second insight. The prisoner must see the door to their cell. They must gaze through the bars and perceive that which exists beyond causality, beyond time. Only then can they escape. I see only unsteady walls. If the people of Tamriel must exist inside this cell, I will make sure that the walls are stable, the gaps are sealed, and all who remain stay safe within it. I've met few heroes like you. Very few. I take this matter of the Triad upon myself, but in truth, you may be the one that saves us. The prisoner who frees the world. We shall see. Farewell.
He's gone, isn't he? I knew it. I never got to speak to him. Can you believe that? 100 years of loyal service and then, poof, gone. You know, I spent years rehearsing exactly what I would say. I stood in front of the mirror, saying it over and over. Lord Set, I stand before you as your loyal servant. Prayers of thanks, supplications, on and on. Now I have nothing but questions. Why do we study in the Basilica while people struggle in the streets? Why can't we have birds like the exodromals? How could Daedra break through our unbreakable walls? Why can't we leave? I did yesterday. Today, I'm not so sure. I have a lot of thinking to do, a lot of assumptions to challenge. Who knows? Maybe that's what Set wanted all along. I owe all this uncertainty to you. You have my gratitude, truly. Uncertainty feels liberating. The world's never seemed so open, so fresh, you know? I sense a new adventure just beginning. Thank you, my friend, and farewell. I think I'll visit the memorial for a while. It seems as good a place as any to be alone with my thoughts.
Raynor, you let him walk all over you. There's a difference between cordial and compliant.
You told me to play nice with others. Now you complain? I don't have to listen to this. I'll finish exploring on my own.
Sorry you had to hear that. Our family feuds aren't usually so dramatic. Raynor always requires a delicate touch, but he's never stormed off before. He hates being on his own. That whole shadow business. I didn't like the way Raynor let that high elf artificer with a dwarven control rod up his arse order us around. My brother didn't deserve to be treated so poorly. I just wish he believed it too. Before I wounded his pride, we were planning to explore this marvelous machine world. He charged off to prove he didn't need my help, and we know how that's going to turn out. I'll let him cool off, but could you make sure he stays out of trouble? What I said to Raynor was pretty harsh, but he can be so infuriating. Look, he might be a brilliant artificer. Unfortunately, he's a terrible dungeon delver. Without me, he's going to get lost or hurt. Just don't mention me when you see him. There are so many intriguing possibilities, I'm not sure which one he tried to tackle first. If I were my brother, I'd start by heading into the radius. We talked about using that gulch with the outflow pipe as a base, so maybe begin there? Like Kwama warriors fighting for the affection of their queen. We're siblings, of course we have arguments. Raynor's a thinker, and I'm all about action. Our differences make us a great team, when we're not engaged in a heated debate. No. Raynor needs some alone time. We both do. No sense starting the same fight all over again. You go talk to Raynor. Help him work things out so we can get back to our usual sibling rivalry. Just don't let him know I sent you.
Kirith doesn't appreciate my contributions to our partnership. She thinks I'd be lost without her. Well, I'll show her. My superior intellect easily outshines her bravado and daring do. But what brings you out here, my friend? That's a generous offer, but I find your sudden arrival somewhat convenient. Did my sister send you after me? She really does think I'm as helpless as a newborn scrib without her, doesn't she? It's a fascinating place, isn't it? So much to see and learn. People in the Brass Fortress told me about a number of sites. We simply have to go and see them for ourselves. The possible discoveries, they boggle the mind. Shall we go explore? There are a number of locations I want to examine. I added them to your map. Lead on, and I will follow. Don't worry. I'll provide any assistance I can, but I have to admit I'm not much of a fighter. That's more Kirith's area of expertise. Same way as you, I imagine. We were looking for the ruins of Balm's Amshend beneath Mournhold when we came across a tiny city inside a clockwork globe. Needless to say, I knew what it was the moment I saw it. The shrinking made me queasy, though. Stern, physically intimidating. To be honest, she scares the scrib jelly out of me. Did you know she was once an Imperial battle mage? During the Riemann dynasty, while fighting in some war, a spell went awry and threw her through time and space. The Resonant Sphere, one of Sothasil's minor marvels. There! Did you hear it? The same tone that the central spire emits during the night cycle. Let me tell you what I discovered before we move on. Did you notice the perfect symmetry? The total roundness of the form? And the way it reacted to simple, magical impulses? Incredible! If memory serves, the chimes sounded similar to the ones that ring in the Brass Fortress. Applying magic to the sphere provoked an oral response. Perhaps Tamiil utilizes different frequencies of sound to perform his divine workings. On the other hand, Lord Set might just appreciate good music. Tribunal doctrine strictly defines the consequences of questioning the methods and mechanisms of our living gods. The apostles here in the Clockwork City emulate Tamiil in their own ways, so any questions I ask seem tame by comparison. That's close enough. Don't want to disturb the, wildlife. Those machines must be pumps for moving the lubricant throughout the Clockwork City. Fascinating. I have what I need. We're done here. I wonder how the lubricant winds up in the Veil. Every time I answer one question, 3 more appear to take its place. I'm glad you asked. I surmise that a correlation exists between the lubricant and the dead organic matter inevitably created in the Clockwork City. It has to go somewhere. I speculate that those pumps distribute the grease throughout the complex. Ah, but the fabricants consist of both flesh and machine. And so do the apostles. While the Dwemer were masters of mechanical construction, Lord Set took it a step further by adding living material to the mix. Kirith... No, never mind. I saw this from a distance and was instantly intrigued. There's no rhyme or reason to its function, at least none that I can ascertain. Maybe one day I can return with an entire team. For now, let's move on. What a magnificent monolith! I wonder if the workings extend into the subterranean levels below us. Maybe that's where the true functioning takes place. That's what I've been pondering since making my meticulous inspection of the site. It's a conundrum. Despite what that Slagtown trader told me, I don't see any method for determining what time it is. Kirith suggested, no, I can do this without her. Kirith uses intuition and leaps of logic instead of sound deductive reasoning, but it works for her. More often than not, actually. She thinks the tower is part of a vast underground mechanism that makes the city function. I suppose that makes sense. We need to go back so I can tell Kirith. Damn. I can't believe I let a stupid argument cut my sister out of this. She should have been here. Not that I don't appreciate your help, mind you, but Kirith and I... we're a team. It does, doesn't it? I'm not sure how to proceed. The complexities of social interaction are Kirith's speciality, not mine. She's my sister and we're a team. We work well together, but she did use some harsh, hurtful words. What do you think? You're right. I can be the bigger person and apologize. I am her older and smarter brother, after all. Let's return to the Brass Fortress. Perhaps you can talk to her first and see how Kirith is doing. She's probably lost and distraught without me.
was worried sick about you. Did everything go all right? You didn't run into any trouble, did you? Raynor requires constant supervision, especially around ruins and other ancient places. He's extremely smart, but he has few practical skills and he's easily distracted. He does he? Well, I have a few words for Raynor as well. We're partners, and partners don't abandon each other when the going gets rough. Anyway, thanks for making sure he got back here safe and sound. I appreciate it.
Kira, well, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have stormed off like that. I blame all this metal. I think I'm getting a rash.
I'm sorry too. I said some things that were uncalled for, unfair. That Naramo just makes my skin crawl, you know?
It's the way he talks. Humongous words and a superior attitude.
Sounds like someone else I know. Now, come on and tell me what you've discovered.